it look like it was raining?
We are doing the rainy day book tag today. As you can tell, it totally was raining outside, 100%. It is a rainy day here in Arizona, and there's no 100-degree weather going on whatsoever. That being said, thank you so much to Sui's Book Banter for tagging me in today's video. This is a really fun tag, guys, so I'm excited to share this one with you. This one felt really unique, and I really liked the questions that were given, and I really liked Sui's answers as well. That original video that she made will be in the description. And let's go ahead and jump into question number 1. Share a book with water on the cover. And of course, I have to pick this one. I don't know if of course means anything. I haven't talked about this book before, but The Sword of Kagan by M.L. Wong is a high epic fantasy that's incredible. And believe it or not, I did not just like watch people talk about this book and rave about it. It was a free book on my Kindle when I first got it. It was just there. I don't even know where it came from. It was like, here you go, you need to read The Sword of Kagan. And I was like, sure, I'll read this because I don't have any other books downloaded on this. And man, I got addicted to it where I was reading it in the car, in the passenger seat, wasn't driving. Don't read and drive. The Sword of Kagan just blew my mind. I was in love with everything that was happening here. If you want a brief explanation, it is pretty much like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but even more adulty and more focused on like the water tribe. You follow two perspectives of a mother and her son, and their relationship is interesting. It's not the strongest that you could think of, but it's explained in the culture very, very well of why that is. This book pulls the heartstrings. It made me cry. It made me just, it's so good. All right, enough raving about The Sword of Kagan. Go check it out. What's a classic novel you'd like to curl up on the couch with? I haven't read Gone with the Wind yet. I believe that could be considered a classic, but I feel like out of all the classics that I want to read, that one is the one that feels the most couch-worthy to just be there and be enveloped by these character choices. A lot of people have been jumping in on my comments, letting me know that Gone with the Wind isn't just a romance, but it's actually about people and the situations there, and the dialogue is something that prevailed so much that it changed the way books are written today. So obviously I want to be able to get into those characters, and I feel like a rainy day or on the couch would be the best time to be able to do that. So Gone with the Wind would be my answer. Next up, question number 3. Share a scary book you would read during a rainstorm. I didn't know how to interpret this question. Is it one that I've already read, or is it one that I haven't read? And so I'll first give you the one that I have read that would fit really well with a rainstorm, and that would be Bret Easton Ellis's Lunar Park. It is a psychological type horror novel and almost like a mock autobiography, and it's incredible. If you want a full review of it, I did it earlier on the channel, and it scared the crap out of me without it being rainy, and I can only imagine reading this in the rain would make it even more scary for me. So that would be my recommendation that I have read. One I haven't read that I would like to, and I think would fit really well, is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. A lot of people talk about how awesome this book is. Again, this was a Target special where I got this hardcover for like $2.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good for you, Gabe.
So yeah, Hidden Pictures, and I really want to read it, and a lot of people have been saying it's one of their favorite little scary books, and so this will be one I definitely want to read on a rainy day. What's a good book rec for rainy days? I feel like detective noir type stories are the perfect rain setting, you know? You can picture people coming in like, yes, I was there looking over, like just doing like the self-narration, and the rain's coming down and someone might be smoking a cigarette and you're like, yeah, this is rain. I don't know why. And so if I'm to do that, I also have to mix it with fantasy, and so I'm going to recommend Stormfront by Jim Butcher. It has that grungy noir style detective type stuff with a wizard in Chicago, and it's good stuff. So if you like fantasy and you like that detective noir type mystery stuff, this is a great read to do, and there's a whole series on it. It's the first of the Dresden Files, so highly recommend it to check that out if you haven't already. What 2 characters would you like to spend a rainy day with? All right, so this is a great question. I never thought of living alongside the characters or read about. And so the first person I would pick would be Nicaro from Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. Nicaro is this sad boy who paints really, really well. You call him Painter throughout the book quite a bit. And I would love to hang out with him and just learn how to paint bamboo with him. It'd be really cool and a lot of fun to be able to do that on a rainy day. I think doing art projects and stuff while it's raining is really cool. And the second person, I love hanging out with my dogs when it's raining because they're all sad too, so we're all chilling on the couch. And so I picked Enzo from The Art of Racing in the Rain because he's a good boy. And I would love to just hang out with that dog. He looks very similar to my dog Striker. And so I would love to be able to hang out with Enzo as he chills with us as Nikara's trying to teach me how to paint, which would be really cool. Share a book that has blue on the cover. I was thinking about it because I shared so many books already that have blue on the cover, and some of the other ones I have blue on the cover I haven't read. And so I wanted to make sure I give you a recommendation that I've read before. And the one I don't own but I read that was amazing is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. It is fantastic. It is peak fantasy. It's definitely in my top 10 books of all time, which I need to make a list of that. I'm surprised I haven't done that on BookTube yet, but definitely check out Madeline Miller's Song of Achilles. It is fantastically written. It's so beautiful, and just, yeah, I highly recommend it. It has blue on the cover. Go get it. What book has a rainy setting at some point? The only one I could think of that was a big deal was Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. This is a horror novel, obviously. It is set inside of an IKEA, and the IKEA at a certain time of day turns into a horror type IKEA, and you get to find that mystery going on throughout the entire of the book. It's a fun short read. It's only about 300 pages, but you also have the aesthetic of reading an actual IKEA manual, which is a lot of fun. And there's a huge pinnacle part where it starts raining, and it is intense. Like, as soon as it starts raining, the book gets really intense, and it's memorable. So this has a rainy setting happen in it, and it's really cool. So I highly recommend checking out Horror Store if you want to have fun. It's just fun. It's not like the scariest horror story, but it's fun. So check it out. What book would you not mind using as an umbrella? So a book I don't mind losing in my collection to the rain, and that would be All of Our Demise. It's not the worst book I ever read, but it also didn't pay off. It's the sequel to All of Us Villains, and it was just kind of like, oh, all right, cool, thanks. It was kind of hard to get through, and I read it last year, and it just wasn't as good as the first one. So I would totally use this as an umbrella. Maybe not the best. I could probably like do a double whammy where I'm like, huh, and protect myself and not be too worried about ruining this book. This would be one I don't mind losing. So, which character would you like to share an umbrella with? So very similar to the other question, but this is one I'd like to be, I guess it's a more intimate moment is when you're sharing an umbrella. So maybe I'll go with a crush. I would choose Steris from Mistborn Era 2 by Brandon Sanderson. She's in most of them. Steris is just so quirky, and I would love for her to talk to me about whatever document she's into or whatever she wants to talk about. Steris is amazing. She's the best character in the Era 2, and what's funny is you start the series not liking her, and then all of a sudden she's just fantastic, and you love the crap out of her. So she's the crush of Era 2, so I highly recommend Steris, and I would love to share an umbrella with her. Share a novel with a dry beginning but amazing ending. I also don't own this book. I read it at the library, but I read it earlier this year. It is Pines by Blake Crouch. Yep, Blake Crouch. Pines is a detective type novel, sci-fi novel, and somebody wakes up from a coma and they don't remember who they are, and you're like, okay. And you really know the tropes. Like, it's hitting all the tropes of like Twin Peaks and Lost. It feels like that. And then the ending makes you go, oh, okay. And it made me read the rest of the series. So Pines has a super dry beginning, and then it just gets real wet. Real amazing at the end, where you're just like, okay, I need to keep reading this series. And every book kind of feels like that, where it's just kind of like, you know where it's going, and then it just hits you, and you're like, this is incredible. That being said, we are down to our last thing to do, and that is tag some other booktubers to be able to do this tag. The first one is actually someone who is brand new to BookTube. They've only made one video at the time of recording this, and I would like to know more about her book taste and what she would recommend on rainy days, and that is going to be Closed Bookish World. Go check out her BookTube newbie tag. It's a lot of fun. She looks like she's going to be doing really good stuff, and can't wait to see what you bring to BookTube, and welcome to the community. Next up is going to be my good friend, basically Netta. She tags me in all the tags, and I need to repay that a little bit. She always tags me in a few videos that are a lot of fun, and I felt this one was a lot of fun for a BookTube tag. So if you've heard me talk about basically Netta before, but go check out her channel. She always does a Tag Tuesday, and so you can always get to know her and see her taste, and she has some really funny stories in the mix as well. So go check it out. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed the rainy day book tag, and I hope you stay dry out there. It's, it is pouring here in Arizona, as you saw earlier. So see you guys later, and toodles.